Okay, no course. Ik zie kon gaan om tekstmsta. Tawa ninna kate school to pano madakito. Ik heb eens het op, je genoeg thuis toch. Maar dan is tekstmsta was. Dan gaat ze niet opgebouwd. Ook krachten nog niks. Zo dat met skitstaya. Ik kan in stawap. Ik zou het tussen het op zo. Ik zie kimmotsi. En ik kijk toe. Ik zei dat u is op zo stika kisten. En dan weet zo goeie zo. What they say, we took this trip for old back home to be peace, and one another, be kind and share. They came back, they just mind their business to show us what freedom is than that for. They did their best to be kind and work together. They got the Red Belt Society, they started. It came along for a while, and then they started to fade away. As today, we are scattered. It's sad. Today, I don't know all of you because we all pursuing something else, seeking. The clock says you better be there. The time before they won, the time was the sun. The sun was the one that motivate all of us. Certain time, one night, couples, I'll be there, and that's it. So we kind of lost quite a bit, especially relationship. I don't think all of you guys know me. Since I've been here, I was told, who are you? Takisto. I've been here for 90 years, I don't know. I'm fading away now. Like I'm saying, hopefully I'll be here next year. I'm getting weak, more problem with my health, and I would like to see everybody to join hands every once in a while. Glad to meet you. Just acknowledgement, it's a gift and a wake up. My grandsons, nephews, nieces, hi uncle. Okay, I don't know them. And I don't want to ask questions. Who's your mom? Who's your dad? It's very sad. Very sad. I often think, them old people are just acting. Now I find out for myself. It's so difficult. Even to get up and to do something, I ache. So with this, I'll just say a few words to you. Now, there's one thing you can carry as far as you can hang on to: kindness, acknowledgement. It's all we need left. It's hard when people go senile. It's very sad. And I'm going to pray for the veterans and their relatives that he left behind. And we all have grandparents. They're gone. We had to get back to unity. I don't like to smudge, to talk. I tried to. One of the old members of the society, he chastised me. That's smudging. He says, why come here and talk to the wall? You spent so many years in the sweat lodge, Central Lodge. How can you can't keep that? Wookok, scraping white. They're really strict people. And it's over 40 years I continue to do this. I'm going to pray, but I had this, I was given some 40 years ago to keep and use it. This is the route we live by at Sundance. Lucky to have one, able to retrieve one, so retain mine to use it in a very sacred way. Pray for the ones of our grandfathers, uncles, relatives that took the stand and fought for peace. What we see on the picture, it's all we know. And we don't know how hardship they went. My dad won't talk about it. But other guys outside, they know him. The things they gone through. He said, we get soaking wet and cold, nothing to change into. We dry them in our stomach. So this is something that will never happen to us. For us is so good. So these are very things I've heard. Like the other day, they're talking about vimerage. My dad was the second one to get on top of the hill. He heard a war cry. A German's friend. I don't know if all of you heard about it. Guys that he was in the army with me, he says was the second man up there. I'm going to see it at the armory Mr. Mason is going to demonstrate it to me. So now we're going to have Friday for us. We can't get together to pray together. So I'm not going to be here. I'm going down there. Like the time we used to have it here, we gather around, it's not there. So I'm going down to Lethbridge and join them. From there, I'll take the reef home. And the very last thing my dad told me, the night we stayed at the camp, that day he was in a parade, Indian Day, and he talked about it. Those bullets are just warm, but I'll just sleep it off. He says, I'll tell you, Charlie, when I'm gone, make sure pour some rum on my rug. Before we go out, we get rum. And don't forget the rum. The next morning, I take him up to his ride over there and stop my hand. His last word, Charles, don't forget the rum. That same evening, he went to bed, and that was it. That was 1976. He stopped my hand before he got into the truck. Oh, say, Charles, huh? Don't forget the rum. And that's what I do every year, pour rum on. He says, when you're doing it for me, use the rum. With that, who's got rum around here? And with that, I'm going to start praying. Okay, nap. Ai nap. Ai kita khataka penat satak. Aamuksen oko siksinnes pukitek kita päätä piimä. Nakakse okamo tahtohpinaan niin päätä piis. Hai topkina minna nikso taptsikstoja. Nakitsikta päikinna päätä piisinna. Oh, kin topkina mai pukaanikapi. Ai kitskoto. Kikadaiskot haihto pano marakita puis. Oh, kikitskopokan. Teitsi tapik. Kokos. Oh, kikinikai saapsohat sikotsa. Aio naapiaki. Haia kohat kuisoka pioakenaaki. Hädötä taapis pinnaana. Oh, käyksaaki niskaiksaak. No koosaa. Ahei taama opatum. Ahki taamas tuimiiksaavak. Hänikaakististum sinikaak. Aina pinokse pukaimoukinnaan. Ai, kun kaikista kuitsenakaan. Hogan ik zag kama's ik zag. Hij dat zag te zijn oortspinnen. Hij ga kista wat toe ja kan ik toch gedaan dat ze te bebinnen. Ik te pamixike wij pia bakukite wacht. Ik kan na pessin no toch zo. Hogan ik roman is tekstziwa. Hogan me kukatsinak. Hij mij trana pam soja. Ik kan nog een scootje. Ai, os pomo kitaki na nog korto kitak. Amokse nog skikko ja kamoksa hasse tapiks. Hij tijd op ganako semmaja. Ai, os pomo kitak. Ai, makojapi. Varikustaki mokakin. Kistoa kena kaniste potokipua. Nakoa wat tatos. Kakokitse pissortikaak. Evannistoa katomanika matuussimaan. Hänikiksik stikkinisi nii päätäpiissen. Kanika kääksiksisi kominiksi soiksa. Akko kanäsokaapi. Akko kano tuovanniksi kutsita piimiksi. Akko kita päinnispoa. Hänäkään sitä päinnis katsomaan. Kanstakaaki puukaa kaais aikipista pipiawa kakakanaskootkei. Kana muuta pissana kipista pumakassa ahkai taamaskootkaiskisimau koava. Oko soa eksaksoa so aksoa nootsia. Aksoa patsiksimauannika oksens. Oki kaksi kuaki sitä puokkahpina. Adoki mataavakisena taapiva. Ai naksaohtis senotspinna. Ai noh kohtuukinna. Kanotsis staapihpinna. Akuk kääpimskatuhpinna naamo. Ano nohtukanuhpinna. Anek nohan staapajaksumu. Nohksis pomukita. Kanakakia sitapivak. Aksuatksis sitapiakinik seippumaappi. Ikska johkonesto toukennaana. Anikaakin nohat paipoja otaukis sitä piipia nismakaappiit. Aidäkaks sitä sohtsohkiopia nikattoa tstaa. Anikaakin ohtska ja ikiitsi otapisina toa nudissokoosinaanik nukoosinaanik isutapsis sitapi. Kui piikkui siis tonaap. Aina kohdistaa päins katsomatpa. Houkana maapio. Essohtsi kako hatsi taamo, että kanipstaa pia. Ko hatsi taamo, isännekin sepiotsi otapiisin. Houkani kaakin näin siiki sipähtin teitsi päitä piihpi muuta passa. Tratako hatsta katohto. Ai, tradaksu puhtsista, ai tradako kaksu mukaan, ai kita mikkinä pipano teitsi pois. Ken mä tahkuikin, tää kokomanista aikaakin, tää kokomanista. Ne pitää vaan nata ja avaavat sipjouk. Häne istäisi natkuim tapua uhkaa. Hänäkin nata sukoteitsikak. Tässä on kyllä kääkin, vaan no nyt pomokani päätäpi. Jokosi, saappi. Känä maapi sokosuai, kiitaa mahpuksemiäksi. Ainakaan maakuuksikoin. Ainakaan taakuuksiksikoi. Kiitaa mahkana jokousiksi. Kohteet sapuja. Ainakaan manista pinstoapi, niin päätäpi. Kataatsi tawahsu penkätsi ikamans. Kikana kakitaamas tuemio. Eno hattahkui kuunikaasu. Jaako katsi tuo maksaskimukui. Hänä kohat konaitaamasissa puukoo. Hänäkaan nyt taappäänti katsoma. Naap. Akkuhkoisistona pianohni taajohtokohs. Maatsikseni paatsu tytaakseko. Naattoa vattoa aamu noskitsuppa, näit sapsta nohtoa vattoa. Kapsoa vattoa se vaatkuskaas. Hajakaan sitä päätikatsema. Kehkari taamoani tukka. Hajakin siksi matsinukpa. Hekin mutsi. Hauakan mutsi. Haukisovaatsi. Hän.
Nikso kuokak, niin stuoko Makiinima. Ken tästä äksitsikkuokak. Hakuhtsitsiksim stoppa. Hakuhtsitsika soppa. Aamuks nikskai tauhkaatsia. Käyttäpio käännöi tauhkaatsia. Organisio tsikutatsiiskassa. Tukskam miksi nyt se noksis kuoja. Kun hän niissä. Akoja musteista matsoa, no hattaa puut se muhnina puutaksin. Okja, nippitama naatsitapia muukses kuusiksaa, no hatsitsin sia on muu auhkaatsis. Okja, käyttäpien, no hattuutapia aamukski tauhkaatsiksi, okja. Aamuskai kakoin haamustutsin auhkaatsiispia. Kiinni tohonista sukaapi niksukua ahkassuhtääksimistoussa. Akukas pummuuksa aamuksi ukuusuaksi, ussukuusuaksi, utsista paissukuusiksi. Hanni ei kiistunnuun aakanista eistamattukatuh niitsi niitäkjou. On behalf of the council, on behalf of my family, I would like to express my gratitude to all of our veterans in all of the great wars, starting from the First Great War, the Second World War, the Korean conflict, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Desert Storm, and the other skirmishes that our warriors, our soldiers have participated in. Our heroes were not required to enter the fray. They wanted to protect our lands. They wanted to protect our people. And so we should honor them and show our gratitude to them, as well as to their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren. Even before the First Great War, we had many warriors. We had many brave members of our tribe who protected our lands from our enemies at that time. And so, when our soldiers entered those world wars, those other conflicts, they followed the path that our great ancestral warriors showed us. They followed the path. They wanted to do their part in protecting us, protecting our lands. So I want to, on behalf of my family, on behalf of my wife's ancestors, we want to really take this time to honor our brave heroes. I had the privilege of knowing one of my uncles who was in the Second Great War. He also was in tribal leadership, and he showed me much. He showed me much about the work that is required from tribal leaders. My wife had two uncles who were in the Second Great War. And one of them died during the war. The other one made it back home, did not live very long. He succumbed to the ailments of being in the war, in the Second Great War, especially in the trenches. So all of us, many of us, have great heroes from our families, and we have great heroes from the tribe. And of course, now is the time to honor and remember them, and live by the example that they have shown us. Thank you again, brave warriors and your families. Han.
Okay, Nikshokwa, Nistowako Kitumomaka, Dorothy, First Rider. And today is an opportunity for us to be able to honor again our veterans that served in World War II. World War II began in 1939, September the 1st, and ended September the 2nd, 1945, and it lasted for 6 years and 1 day. Some of our brave young men from the Blood Tribe enlisted in World War II, and they served courageously, and they experienced all of the atrocities of war. And today we have an opportunity to honor not only them, but those veterans that also served in World War I and in the Korean and in the Vietnam War and the Afghanistan War. We would like to commend them for their bravery and say thank you to all of them for their service. A lot of the veterans that served in World War II came back and were traumatized for the rest of their lives for the experiences that they encountered during the war, as well as all of the other veterans. However, our soldiers came back and they became contributing members of our blood tribe. And they contributed to the nation by becoming successful ranchers, and they also engaged in agriculture, and some of them also became politicians and served the blood tribe in that manner for the rest of their lives. We, the children of the veterans, lived through their experiences in some of the stories that they shared with us. Not all of them shared a lot of stories because it was too traumatic for them. They suffered PTSD. However, today we are very thankful to them as well as all of the other veterans throughout the many wars that the world has encountered over the years. And we have an opportunity to say thank you to them again for their service and as well for allowing us to enjoy the freedom that we continue to enjoy today. So again, thank you very much on behalf of the family of the veterans. Thank you.
Okay, nicho ko anstana ko kia kayamstin. O git kuna itimatsim po. O kita tsa pi puya ka ki. Nidokan suka pi muki chi pos ni kokta x kuspa. Ako man sta I ka kimatusi. Okay, chi puyos. O ginoka tsitansti ika kata pia matsa setapi tsaki. Matapi mate tstapi yochtsamia. O kita tsa pi. Hello, everyone. My name is Travis Plaited here, and with the Blood Tribe Chief and Council. And I just wanted to extend, on behalf of Council and myself and my family and my community, I just want to extend best wishes to all of our veterans out there, past, present, and future. Veterans are extremely important within our culture. And whenever we gather at powwows or community gatherings, we always honor our veterans. Veterans are a big part of our ceremonies too. And we are very fortunate here on the Blood Reserve that we have a number of young individuals who have served in conflicts all over the world. And of course, we have a great history in World War I and World War II and the Korean conflict. My uncles were all served in World War II and the Korean conflict. So I always enjoy the celebrations that we have when it comes to honoring our veterans. Within our culture as Kainaiwa, as you all know through the Sundance, Akukats, and Yankaki, a lot of that is taken from veterans and our war stories and our history. And there are some ceremonies within the Kainaiwa and Blackfoot Confederacy, for that matter, where only veterans are the ones who take part in some of those ceremonies. One of that you all may be aware of is naming ceremonies. We always gather our veterans to do the capture. But there are other ceremonies within Kukatsin, like at the Ukan, when we go cut the center pole. There's a ceremony that takes place there too, and those are also veterans. And as you all may know, I was a past leader of the Sacred Horn Society, and I was very, very fortunate and honored to have a veteran as my partner with my wife Veronica, Kenny Fox, Natuipitsia. And some of the ceremonies that we did it required a veteran to do that ceremony. We were very fortunate that Patsapistan had its own veteran, and it just brought more meaning to that ceremony, being able to do the ceremony with our own veterans. So I always encourage our young people to pursue a career in the armed forces and even in policing. Those are the modern day warriors. So I know almost all of them, and I get along with all of them, and I have utmost respect for the job that they've done. So I'd just like to extend my best wishes to all the families. We have a lot of families on the Blood Reserve who have veterans that served in the Great Wars. And we look forward to being with them maybe this upcoming Christmas powwow. We'll gather again. There will be some activities happening on Remembrance Day. Be sure to check them out and go out and support them. So with that, I just wanted to extend my best wishes to everyone, and we look forward to seeing everyone at the headdress powwow. I believe will be happening this weekend on Saturday, November the 11th. Han.
Honoring our warriors and our veterans. In honor of our traditional warriors of the past who preserved and protected the integrity of Ghana. Spotted calf, bullback fat, 2 sons, black bear, seen from afar, bad head, red crow, thunder chief, crop-eared wolf, sing-back son, 3 bears, weasel horse, medicine shield, running rabbit, rough hare, flying white buffalo, kip fox, sheep old man. Shot on both sides, father of many children, medicine calf, Blackfeet old woman, big snake, medicine son, big plum, white wolf rainy chief, middle painted lodge, sun old man, bull shakes his tail, iron shirt, calf shirt, insect wild ear, 3 guns, heavy forehead, running coyote, calf robe. 1 spot, high sun, red old man, eagle ribs, martin, gambler, black plume, big wolf, good striker, striped wolf, white calf, eagle head, many spotted horses, running sun, heavy shield, many mules, small eyes, weasel tail, low horn, berry eater, many swan, sitting bull, tall man, crazy crow, eagle child, little crow, old moon, prairie chicken old man, grouse child, wolf plum, black forehead, calling last, longtime squirrel, black horse rider. Past chiefs, warriors of Ghana. Voice, Mike Oka Jr., Blackfoot spelling, Leo Fox.
Okay, next week. Amiksikak ninnaaksis kohtsika tanikko nakuksi inskatsaw. Amo matumohtanstaw bullback fact. Stamiksuusak. Ikatsaatam. Kennakok seen from afar. Pinakuyim. Kennakok red crow. Mi gatestu. Kennak crop-eared wolf. Makuyupistuki. Shot both sides. Atsu Dao. Thunder Chief. Kistikumina. Father of many children. Matnistukus. Medicine Cat. Natuunstachs. One spot. Nitakis tipim. Eagle ribs. Pitochpikis. Many spotted horses. Akakis tipim. Hun. That's what we have for you today. Thank you.
Honoring the Ghana Blood Tribe war veterans who served voluntarily to ensure our safety and world peace. World War I and World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, Gulf War, War in Afghanistan, and the Iraq War. World War I, date 1916, 191st Battalion, Canadian Expeditionary Force, Fort Macleod, Alberta. World War I, Blood Recruits, 191st Battalion, Canadian Expeditionary Force, Fort Macleod, Alberta, 1916. Left to right, back row, George Cummings Singer, died overseas, 1919. Joe Crow Chief, Dave Mills, George Stranglin Wolf, Mike Fox Head, Blackfoot, died overseas, 1917. Left to right, front row, Nick King, Harold Chief Moon, Commanding Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Bryan, Joe Mountain Horse, Mike Mountain Horse. World War I, Blood Recruits, 191st Battalion, Canadian Expeditionary Force, Fort Macleod, Alberta, 1916. Harold Chief Moon. Harold Chief Moon captured several German soldiers hiding in a building who were retreating, trying to get back to their camp. Orders were shoot on sight. He spared their lives by capturing at gunpoint. Troops stormed a building only to find themselves being gassed. He barely got his mask on while others did not have time. They died from the fumes. He was affected by this altercation and had trouble with his lungs when he returned home. He was a patient at Colonel Belcher Hospital in Calgary. Private George Cummings Singer. Private George Cummings Singer enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 6th of September 1916. Served in Canada, Britain, and France, and died overseas of illness on the 14th of January, 1919. Private George Cummings Singer. Private George Cummings Singer Burial information. Cemetery. Lenhan Cemetery, Kent, United Kingdom. Grave reference. 222nd B. Private George Cummings Singer, commemorated on page 531 of the First World War Book of Remembrance. Private Joseph Crow Chief. Private Joseph Crow Chief, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 15th of July 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, was honorably discharged on the 4th of April 1919. Private Nicholas King. Private Nicholas King, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 24th of June 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged on the 9th of June 1919. Nick King of the Blood Reserve in the one-horn headdress he took overseas in the First World War, the Glenbow Archives. Private Nicholas King. Nicholas King receiving medal in Fort Macleod, Alberta. Reproduced with the permission of the Fort Macleod Historical Association. Private Nicholas King. Nicholas King receiving medal in Fort Macleod, Alberta. Reproduced with the permission of the Fort Macleod Historical Association. Private Joe Crow Chief and his brother Nick King. Date 1918. The two men were brothers, one in military uniform, near Fort Macleod, Alberta. Driver Albert Mountain Horse. Driver Albert Mountain Horse, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 23rd of September 1914, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged the 4th of November 1915. He died of illness on the 19th of November 1915. Driver Albert Mountain Horse, the only member of the Blood Nation to serve at the front during World War I, was buried in a military funeral at Fort Macleod, Alberta, the 27th of November 1915. Although Canada's native peoples were exempt from compulsory military service, Mountain Horse was one of the first to volunteer after war was declared. He was sent to France, where he was gassed at the Battle of Ypres, developing complications which resulted in his death. Driver Albert Mountain Horse. Albert Mountain Horse. Private Joseph Mountain Horse. Private Joseph Mountain Horse, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 15th of July 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged on the 1st of May 1919. Private Mike Mountain Horse. Private Mike Mountain Horse, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 23rd of May 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged the 17th of May 1919. Mike Mountain Horse. Private Maurice Prairie Hen. Private Maurice Prairie Hen, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 2nd of February 1917, served in Canada and Britain, and was honorably discharged the 18th of July 1919. Private George Stranglin Wolfe. Private George Stranglin Wolfe enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 26th of June 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged the 8th of February 1918. World War II. Maggie Badarm, U.S. Armed Forces. Gunner Edward Ted Brave Rock. Gunner Edward Brave Rock enlisted in the Canadian Army active on the 3rd of July 1940, served in Canada and Britain, and was honorably discharged the 25th of January 1944. Edward Marcus Ted Brave Rock. He enlisted in the Army in 1939, where he was sent to Shiloh, Manitoba for his commando training. From there he embarked for Halifax, Nova Scotia, overseas to England in 1940. He was stationed at London. He was promoted to Lance Corporal and served under the Lanark and Renfrew Regiment, Scottish Regiment. Ted fought in many battles and took part in the liberation of Rome. Roles in the military included being an MP. Ted was injured in a shell shock and became hospitalized. He sailed from Liverpool back to Canada on October 22, 1943. Gunner William Creighton. Gunner William Creighton enlisted in the Canadian Army active on the 10th of January 1942, served in Canada, Britain, and Northwest Europe, and was honorably discharged the 3rd of July 1945. Private Patrick Eagle Child. Private Patrick Eagle Child enlisted in the Canadian Army active on the 8th of February 1943 and served in Canada, Britain, and Central Mediterranean area and Northwest Europe, and was honorably discharged the 12th of March 1946. Patrick Eagle Child in the Cadets. Private Patrick Eagle Child. Private Tom Holy Singer. Private Tom Holy Singer enlisted in the Canadian Army active on the 17th of January 1942, served in Canada, Britain, and Northwest Europe, and was discharged the 24th of January 1946. Gunner Stephen Mistaken Chief. Stephen Mistaken Chief, World War II veteran. Undermanned, Canadian soldiers battled their way through German troops to rescue British allies who had mistakenly landed behind enemy lines and fought a bitter 5-month battle for survival. Globe and Mail, April 7, 2007. Mistaken Chief 84 was the last surviving veteran of World War II from the Blood Reserve in Alberta, a World War II veteran who spearheaded the fight for equal benefits for Aboriginal soldiers and won. Upon returning home, a war hero in September 1945, Mistaken Chief began his battle for benefits when he learned he did not qualify for the same post-war entitlements as his white comrades. But he was a very forgiving man, recalled journalist Gary Allison, who interviewed Mistaken Chief for a book about Southern Alberta's wartime experience. He knew it was wrong. He was very hurt about it, but he didn't rant and rave about it. He just went about his way and tried to correct it. Mistaken Chief enlisted in the Canadian Army at the age of 17 in 1941. He fought in the Battle of Ortona in Italy, one of the most violent, intense encounters of the war. I felt part of those men back then. Mistaken Chief is quoted in Allison's book, but when I got back home, I found I was an Indian again. Mistaken Chief re-enrolled in high school in 1978 and furthered his education by obtaining a degree in management, graduating at the same time with 2 of his 12 children. daughter Elfrida Hunt recalls her father as blessed with natural intelligence and an ability to absorb the legal details of child welfare, Indian Act, and criminal law. He was self-taught. He had boxes and boxes of the original Indian Act that he could quote without seeing it, Hunt recalled. Mistaken Chief lobbied the federal government for better Native education and on a variety of human rights issues. He obtained many accomplishments during his life, but to him, education and learning more was always the priority. He held a seat on Blood Tribe Council and assisted with establishing various projects for the Blood Tribe, such as obtaining housing funding and assisting with the construction development. He was a founding member of the Blood Tribe Agricultural Project. He performed intense research for the Blood Tribe Lands Department. He was an active voice for his people and left quite a legacy. Stephen Mistaken Chief was a well-respected elder of the Blood Tribe and will be greatly remembered, lest we forget. Gunner Stephen Mistaken Chief enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 4th of June, 1941, served in Canada, Britain, Central Mediterranean area, and Northwest Europe, and was honorably discharged the 29th of September, 1945. Cardston, Alberta, a Second World War veteran who fought for equal benefits for Aboriginal soldiers, has died in hospital in southern Alberta. Stephen Mistaken Chief, 84, was the last surviving veteran of the war from the Blood Reserve in Alberta. Mistaken Chief, who died Wednesday, enlisted in the Canadian Army at the age of 17 in June 1941 and fought in the Battle of Ortona in Italy, one of the most violent, intense encounters of the war. Gunner Mike Oka Sr. Gunner Mike Oka enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 28th of January 1942, served in Canada, Britain, Central Mediterranean area, and Northwest Europe, and was honorably discharged the 7th of January 1946. He serviced 44 and a half months and 12 days. Gunner Mike Oka, Campaign Medals, 1939 to 1945 Star, Italy Star, France and Germany Star, Defense Medal, Canadian Volunteer Service Medal and Clasp, War Medal 1939 to 1945. Mike was 18 years old when he enlisted. Before enlistment, Mike was a farmer laborer. At time of enlistment, Mike was posted to General Rains, CA. He disembarked overseas on June 4, 1942. On May 21, 1942, he was awarded the Canadian Volunteer Service Medal and Clasp. On May 21, 1942, Mike was wounded shrapnel artillery fire in the United Kingdom. October 26, 1944, he was redesignated to land in Rensselaer and shipped to Italy. On September 24, 1945, Mike was awarded the Italy, France, and Germany stars. Of his $16 a month pay, he kept only $1.50 for himself and sent the rest to his mother. Mike returned home only to hear that his mother had passed. He achieved his goal of being a successful farmer and rancher and husband to Mary Louise Oka. They raised 4 boys and 9 girls. He'd served as a lifetime counselor, and when the federal government implemented the 2-year election system, Mike was elected. Private Horace Quinnell. Private Horace Quinnell enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 3rd of July 1940, served in Canada, Britain, and Central Mediterranean area, and was honorably discharged on 14th of June 1945. Private Andrew Standing Alone. Private Andrew Standing Alone enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 10th of January 1942, served in Canada, and was honorably discharged the 28th of June, 1943. Private John Tallow Quinnell. Private John Tallow Quinnell, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 4th of June, 1941, served in Canada, Britain, and Central Mediterranean area, and was honorably discharged on the 3rd of March, 1944. John Tallow Quinnell. Date 1940, before leaving for overseas in Canadian Army. Leading Aircraftman Stephen Wadsworth. Leading Aircraftman Stephen Wadsworth, enlisted in the Royal Canadian Air Force, RCAF, on the 11th of March, 1943, served in Canada and was honorably discharged the 10th of November, 1945. Also re-enlisted in the RCAF, regular on the 29th of September, 1951, served in Canada, died the 11th of September, 1952. Leading Aircraftman Stephen Wadsworth. Date 1943. William Wadsworth Sr. and his son, Stephen, an Army recruit. Stephen went overseas and served in Italy. Gunner William Wadsworth. Gunner William Wadsworth enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 10th of December 1941, served in Canada, Britain, and Central Mediterranean area, and was honorably discharged on the 7th of November 1944. Gunner Frederick Weaselfat. Gunner Frederick Weaselfat enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 10th of January 1942, served in Canada and Britain, and was honorably discharged on the 28th of February 1944. Private Arthur Wells. Private Arthur Wells enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 2nd of January 1942, served in Canada, Britain, and Northwest Europe, and was discharged on the 11th of October 1945. Korean War Monument. Private Reginald Crop-Eared Wolf. Private Reginald Crop-Eared Wolf enlisted in the Canadian Army Regular on the 7th of June 1951, served in Canada and the Far East, and was honorably discharged the 7th of June 1957. Guardsman William Sandy Eagleplum. Guardsman William Sandy Eagleplum enlisted in the Canadian Army Regular on the 26th of February 1952, served in Canada, continental Europe, and the Far East, and was honorably discharged the 30th of May 1955. Private Gilbert Healy. Private Gilbert Healy enlisted in the Canadian Army Regular on the 4th of March 1954, served in Canada and continental Europe, and was honorably discharged on the 26th of November 1957. Private Gilbert Healy served as a private with the Princess Patricia Canadian Light Infantry from March 1954 to November 1957. His service number was SM-10361. Guardsman Ray Manychief. Date 1940 to 1945. Raymond Manychief, in Canadian uniform, served with the 49th Battalion, Edmonton, Alberta. Guardsman Ray Manychief enlisted in the Canadian Army Regular on the 10th of March 1952, served in Canada and continental Europe, and was honorably discharged the 31st of March 1955. Vietnam War. Lance Corporal Jeffrey Bullshields. Cecil Holy White Man. Cecil Holy White Man, Bremerton, Washington. Holy White Man Family Cemetery, Standoff, Alberta, TOL 1YO. Bremerton, Washington 98337. Grave location. Birth May 21st, 1946. Death January 22nd, 2006. Age 59. Branch U.S. Marine Corps. War Vietnam. Private Alvin Manychief. February 14, 1973 to October 3, 1973. Lance Corporal Joseph Prairie Hen. Lance Corporal Joseph Prairie Hen. Recent conflicts. Sergeant Preston Crow Chief. The 20th Independent Field Battery, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Son of Calvin Crow Chief and Geraldine Slay. Bombardier Keisha Potts. Bombardier Keisha Potts, 20th Independent Field Battery, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Bombardier Keisha Potts, daughter of Angela Whitegrass Potts. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass, 20th Independent Field Battery, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass, daughter of Angela Whitegrass Potts. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass, February 16, 2012, a special honor for a local soldier who went above and beyond the call of duty during a tour in Afghanistan. She was part of a NATO convoy in Kabul that day when a suicide bomber detonated an improvised explosive device. She helped recover the bodies of 6 soldiers killed in the blast, and at the same time assisted other injured soldiers and provided security, all while being badly hurt herself. Pat Sidlecki. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass. Corporal Ray Manychief, Construction Engineer Squadron, Maintenance CFB, Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada. Corporal Ray Manychief, son of Pierre and Carol Manychief. Private Kendrick Fox, Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry, CFB, Shiloh, Manitoba, Canada. Private Kendrick Fox, son of Clark and Annette Breesthead. Corporal John Davis, Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Corporal John Davis, son of Wesley and Janine Davis. Sergeant Jonathan Bruce Fox, United States Army. Sergeant Jonathan Bruce Fox, son of Lambert and Yvonne Fox. Specialist Charles Gladstone, United States Army. Specialist Charles Gladstone, son of Ivan Singer and Rowena Gladstone. Private Tricia Willows, United States Army. Private Tricia Willows, daughter of Patrick Crowchief and Maxine Bighead. Lance Corporal Jamie Robert J.R. Fox, United States Marines. Lance Corporal Jamie Robert J.R. Fox, son of Lambert Fox and Yvonne Fox. Corporal Deborah Craig Ironshirt, United States Marines. Corporal Deborah Craig Ironshirt, son of Bessie Ironshirt. Jose Manybears, United States Marines. Jose Manybears, son of Rosella Manybears. Alex Mills, no information at this time. Corby Scout, son of Barbara Scout. Sheldon Scout, son of Barbara Scout. Petty Officer 2nd Airman Jonathan Manybears, United States Navy. Petty Officer 2nd Airman Jonathan Manybears, son of Bruno and Corinne Manybears. Special recognition of founding members by Dorothy First Rider, daughter of Mary Louise Oka, President, Ghana War Veterans Committee. Mary Louise passed away on November 11th, 2013. Founding members, Ghana War Veterans Committee since 1995, Mary Louise Oka, President. Founding members, World War II Gunner Edward Braverock, Ed Chief Moon. Founding members, BBN Eagle Child, World War II Gunner Stephen Mistaken Chief. Founding members, Ruth Quennell McClanahan, Christine Tallow. Thanks to participants, Tribal Government Committee, Council, Dorothy First Rider, Maria Russell, Travis Plaited Hair, Benakoyam Tail Feathers. Thanks to participants, Blood Tribe Chief, Makiinima Roy Fox, Elder Charlie Crow Chief, Veterans Family Representative Mike Oka Jr., Drummers Wiley Weasel Moccasin, Christopher Weasel Moccasin, Buford Plaited Hair. Credits: Tribal Government Department, Annabelle Crawbeard Wolf Coordinator. Staff: Verdun Heinbull Morning Owl, Lorna Day Chief, Monica Blackwater, Lanny Wolfchild. Credits: Communications Department, Pam Blood Coordinator. Staff: Lenora Manyfingers, Todd Eaglechild, Blair Russell. Presentation by Tribal Government and External Affairs Department, Verdun Heinbel, Morning Owl, Mike Tailfeathers, Communications Department, Todd Eaglechild, Photo and additional info contributions RCL, Glenn Miller. Thank you to the veterans' families who have supported their veterans at services since 1995. Photos of past ceremonies to follow. In Flanders Fields, Blackfoot version by Dr. Lena Russell. Blackfoot translation honors Indigenous veterans. Blackfoot and English language poster made available in collaboration with veteran Glenn Miller.